We've all probably heard of the Bermuda Triangle and its mysteries, but did you know there are other triangles which have inspired even weirder reported events? One such triangle is in the Pacific Ocean and has its own equivalent to the Bermuda Triangle. It's called the Dragon's Triangle, also known to some as the Devil's Sea, located off the coast of Japan. It's been linked to many stories of ship disappearances, UFO sightings, and magnetic anomalies. The weirdest stories is that of Japanese military vessels vanishing in the triangle in the 1950s. This led to researchers being sent in to see what in the world was going on. They also vanished. However, we won't be exploring those triangles. We'll be discussing a lesser-known triangle dubbed the smaller cousin of the Bermuda Triangle. Welcome back to another episode of True Crimes and Mysteries with Ricochet Rains. Today we'll be discussing the Bennington Triangle, which is located in the Glastenbury Mountains of Vermont. Here we go. The Bennington Triangle is an area that includes the ghost town of Glastenbury, once a small logging community centered on the mountain in southwestern Vermont. Abandoned at the end of the 19th century after the logging boom died, the greater Glastenbury area is now mostly untouched, pristine wilderness and is considered a remote area. The now abandoned town and its surrounding area has long been the setting of numerous unexplained disappearances, unsolved murders, mysterious plane crashes, navigation mishaps, and bizarre sightings that continue to this very day. Since there are so many weird goings-on in the Bennington Triangle, way too many to cover, we'll be concentrating on those that have gone missing. The Bennington Triangle's disappearances plagued the area from 1945 to 1950. In that 5-year span, many people went missing on or near the Glastenbury Mountain. The first was Midi Rivers, a 75-year-old man who served as a mountain guide. Rivers was leading a group of hunters back to their camp on November 12th of 1945, when he got ahead of them, just enough to be out of sight. In that short period of time, he completely vanished. It's unlikely that he went off track, since for many years he had navigated the mountain. An extensive search was conducted by 300 concerned locals and U.S. Army soldiers dispatched from Massachusetts Fort Devens. Though they combed through the vast wilderness for 8 days, the only thing found was a rifle cartridge of the same type that Rivers used. There was no evidence of an animal attack, and his body wasn't found. Even after this exhaustive search, many locals believed that the knowledgeable woodsman would be able to survive and would soon resurface in town, but he never did. Rivers disappeared along the Long Trail Road area and Vermont Route 9. Paula Weldon, the most famous of the disappearances, was an 18-year-old sophomore Bennington College student who had taken up hiking and decided to explore the mountain on December 1st of 1946. Weldon was spotted by several people, including other hikers, who warned her she wasn't dressed warm enough for a hike on the mountain. Weldon's bright red coat, which she was wearing at the time, made her easy to spot. However, after an extensive search was conducted, including more than 1,000 people, aircraft surveillance, and help from the FBI, no clues to her fate were ever discovered. Weldon's case became the most famous disappearance, as it caused Vermont to found its own state police force. At the time of her disappearance, Vermont had only one state investigator. Police from New York and Connecticut were eventually called in by Weldon's father, to no avail. 3 years to the day after Paula Weldon disappeared, James E. Tedford went missing on December 1st, 1949. Tedford had been in St. Albans, visiting relatives, and returned home on a bus when he vanished. Tedford was one of 14 passengers on the bus at the last stop before arriving in Bennington. When the bus arrived in Bennington, he had seemingly vanished. His belongings were still in the luggage rack, and an open bus timetable was on his vacant seat. No one had seen him get off of the bus, and he didn't disembark in Bennington. Tedford, from all accounts, vanished while the bus was on Route 7 and traveling through the Bennington Triangle. Less than a year later, after Tedford's disappearance, on October 12, 1950, Paul Jepson, an 8-year-old boy, went missing. Paul was inside his family's pickup truck with his mom, who left briefly to take care of pigs at a property she and her husband took care of. When she returned, the boy was nowhere to be found. She and her husband searched everywhere without so much as a peep from her son. After being unable to find Paul, he was reported missing. Hundreds showed up to help search for Paul. During the search, bloodhounds were deployed and picked up a scent that suddenly disappeared at a crossroads. Paul's father suggested that he might have disappeared into the mountains, since he had talked about wanting to go hiking for many days prior to his disappearance. Some, however, believe a motorist may have abducted him. Just 16 days later, Frida Langer went missing on October 21, 1950. She and several other family members were camping in the woods near Glastenbury Mountain. She disappeared while hiking with her cousin and friends. Her clothes had gotten wet during a hike, and she went back to camp to change. When the group realized that she had never arrived, a massive search was launched. Volunteers, police, firefighters, and the military all joined together in search of Langer, which turned up nothing, and the search eventually was called off. 7 months later, on May 12, 1951, her body was found near Somerset Reservoir, an area that had previously been extensively searched. Due to the decomposition of the body, no cause of death could be determined. The case remains unsolved. Langer was the last person to disappear in the Bennington Triangle during that period, and the only one whose body was ever found. In conclusion, since there isn't any evidence as to what happened to the people who disappeared, paranormal theories have developed. The unexplained events associated with the Bennington Triangle have caused many to theorize paranormal forces are to blame. Others believe that the missing persons between 1945 and 1950 may have been the nefarious work of a serial killer. But the lack of evidence to back this up, as well as the variety in the victims, ages, and genders, likely rules out that theory. Some still think that those who disappeared may have died due to an attack of mountain cats, like the lynx or a bobcat. However, the bobcat and lynx are not known to be aggressive to humans. Stranger things have happened, though. And that doesn't explain the disappearance of Tedford, who was on a moving bus when he allegedly disappeared. What are the similarities of the disappearances? The known similarities between the well-documented cases in the Bennington Triangle are 1. The area of the disappearances, 2. The time of day when they were last seen, between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m., and the time of the year when they were last seen, between October and December. So what do you think is going on in the Bennington Triangle? We're eager to hear what you think. Please leave a comment below as to what you think is going on in that triangle. Thanks for watching another episode of True Crimes and Mysteries with Ricochet Rains. Don't forget to like, share, follow, or subscribe to our free content. Also, if you have a suggestion for an episode, please leave us a message. Once again, thanks for watching True Crimes and Mysteries with Ricochet Rains.